Alright, what is up, guys? So it has been a hot minute since I have streamed. A lot has been going on in my life. A lot has been going on in the world. You know, I had moved into this apartment in January of 2020, and me and my co-host John, street psychologist, had started streaming, and we were streaming every week. And then COVID hit and kind of threw some things off track, and a lot of stuff was not planned for. And I think everyone can agree with that. I had a lot of plans that never happened. I'm sure the same for a lot of people. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of businesses closed. I do know when I first moved into this town, northeast Maryland, there was a little grocer down the street. Now, there is a Dollar General, but they don't sell produce. And this little grocer, they did sell produce. And I met the owner. She was a young girl, probably late 20s, early 30s, and she had just taken over the store from the previous owners. And she was really excited. She basically put all of her savings into this store, and when COVID hit, she lost everything. Um, and it's such a sad thing, to see that. And so just about every day I ride my bike, because I'm just right up the street, so no need to drive, but I ride my bike, down there, and I see the store, and just see how COVID had affected so many people's lives. And I know during that time, and still even now, um, people are still trying to recover from that. And I know mental health, for a lot of people, COVID played a huge part in that. Whether it was depression, anxiety, um, suicidal ideation. Some people did commit suicide. Um, I know that lost everything, and it was a disaster. You couldn't go to hospitals. You couldn't see your doctors. Like I was seeing my doctor face to face every month for years, and luckily I was like one of few who could still go see my doctor face to face. But I wasn't able to see my therapist. Everything had to be a video chat. Appointments, everything got screwed up. And yeah, so one of the reasons we had kind of stopped streaming was John started having his own issues and kind of fell off the planet. And I wasn't able to get a hold of him. I still haven't been able to get a hold of him, so I pray that he is okay. Um, and I guess I'll just kind of like talk about what has gone on in my life, since we stopped streaming. So let's back to 2019. Okay, right around February, March of 2019. And at this time, I was living on Perry Point Veterans Affairs Hospital. It's a very large base. Um, and back in the day, it used to be an active military base slash hospital. And there was housing there for the military and things like that. And after it was became basically just a garrison and just mainly the hospital, um, you know, a lot of the houses became vacant. Some are, basically just shells, and then they kind of remodeled some, and then they built brand new ones. And if you know my story from watching previous videos, like my first video, I had just gotten out of rehab, and I got into this program where basically I just got back on my feet. I was living in a house with two other roommates who unfortunately weren't sober, but I was able to stay sober during that time, and have a sponsor. and I was going to meetings, doing live meetings, with my people back in Omaha. And anyways, I started on a blood pressure medication. Okay, now it's called amlodipine. Now, if you get online and you look up, possible symptoms of amlodipine, tinnitus is not one that will show up first. Okay, now tinnitus is ringing in the ears. Yeah, so basically what happens is, from loud noises, like explosions, loud music, um, a head trauma, um, there's these little hairs that move around inside your ear, right around your eardrum, okay? And when your eardrum, or, let's say the loud music, it will damage some of those little hairs. It'll kill them, okay? And those cannot be regrown. So the remaining hairs, they have to overwork, overstimulate, all right? And that is what causes the ringing. There's also a whooshing sound, or like a wavy sound. Um, and when I first started taking the meds, I would wake up in the morning and I would have ringing in my ears, but it would only last for like a few minutes and then go away. Okay. And then as that year, 2019, went on, the ringing would, last a little bit longer. And then, like, towards the end of the year, it would get to a point where it would be like I'd get up and it would last for like 30 minutes and then go away. Okay. Well, now comes 2020. I move into my new apartment. My new life is starting. We do not know about COVID yet. I have all these great plans, still on the medication. Life is still great, single, and still having the ringing in my ears. We start the channel, and things are going good. We're getting lots of views on videos. I know we did one video right when the coronavirus started, and it had like a thousand some views and likes. And we were really building there, and we hadn't like used proper software. We were basically like pre-recording videos and posting them on the specific dates that we said. I'm right now using OBS Studios software, so I can basically stream live, and you're watching me live, and you can chat with me during the stream. Um, so I can see how many viewers are watching. People can talk to me. Um, so basically, I have my phone right next to me, and I can see how many viewers there are. Like I got one comment, good luck, man. I appreciate it. And so, anyways, I got ADD, so I kind of like will go off on a tangent. So bear with me. So COVID hits, and this really has no effect on the tinnitus, okay? But at that during that year is when it got worse. Um, so, like right around the middle of the year, I would wake up and the ringing would last for like an hour and then go away. And then as the year continued on towards like winter time, I would wake up and the ringing would last for like a couple hours and then go away. Well, now let's jump to 2021. Okay. And COVID is pretty bad at this time. Um, and so at this point, I would wake up and the ringing in my ears, would, go on for, at least half of the day and then go away. Well, then right around like May, um, it got to a point where the ringing never ever went away, and it still hasn't gone away. And at one point, it was so bad that I couldn't hear anything. All I could hear was just this ringing, loud ringing sound in my ear. And it had put me in such a low depressive state that, like, I remember one night laying in bed. The only time when I don't hear the ringing is when I'm asleep. um, that's the only time, so like I would just have this desperation to just get in bed and go to sleep so I don't hear the tinnitus, for that short bit of time, because I have bad sleep issues. So I'll sleep like a couple hours, like an hour, wake up, go walk around downstairs, come back upstairs, sleep, um, then wake up in another hour and a half, and I usually run on like 4 hours of sleep, and then I'll take like a nap during the day, like an hour or two nap during the day, which really isn't that healthy. But like it got so bad that I remember laying in bed one night and I had the light on because I've got two nightstands on each side of my bed, and they've got like little lamps. And I had the lamp on my side. I sleep on the left side of the bed, facing towards the window. And I had this thought in my head, and I had always wondered why people committed suicide, how things could be so bad that you would want to take your life. And for the first time ever, I understood why. Like, the ringing was so bad, like, I couldn't enjoy anything. Like, the only times that I, like I said, couldn't really hear the ringing was one when I was in the shower. Um, I it was really faint, or when I was sleeping. Okay, and I for the first time in my life, legitimately thought about eating a gun. And luckily, I have an amazing girlfriend, who is just, my rock and has really helped me get through this, including my family. And, but it had brought me into this very dark hole, this very deep depression. And then anxiety just started out of nowhere. Um, right around June, July. I actually had planned to go home and see my family in July because my Uncle John had passed away in February of that year from COVID. And we couldn't get all of the family together um, until July. So that was when we were going to hold his funeral. And, he had been cremated because he actually passed away when he was in Arizona because him and his wife, Linda Diane, have a condominium down there, um, near my grandmother's condominium. And so usually they're called snowbirds. So, during the winters out here, well, in the Midwest, um, where I live, Maryland doesn't really have much of a winter. But, in Nebraska and Iowa, when winter comes around, they go down south to Arizona and they stay in their condo and villa, and that's where they stay and for the winter. And then, when spring and summer comes around, and they go home. Okay, so, it was February, he passed away, and it took a while to get his body back to Iowa. And, very, very sad, because they have 5 kids, so 2 boys and 3 girls, my cousins. And then they have a bunch of kids. So, he had tons of grandkids, like 14, 15 grandkids, and it was just so sad. And it was during, when I was going to go home. And that was one of the main reasons why I was going to go home, was for his funeral. And, because I hadn't seen my family in like 4 or 5 years, I had only talked on the phone, so I didn't even know what my dad looked like. I hadn't seen my dad in like 5 years. He said he was losing weight, and I hadn't seen my mom. I hadn't seen my sister. Um, I hadn't seen anybody. And but like at this point before leaving, like I was at my lowest of the low. You know, the anxiety would just be so bad. And I was just always, and my blood pressure was just crazy high. Um, you know, I, I'm talking like top number right around like 150, 160. Um, bottom number around 95, 100 at the worst. The bottom number was like 128, and top number was like 170, and I had to go to the hospital um, just from so much stress that this tinnitus has caused. Um, and so they put me on some medications. They put me on an antidepressant, Lexapro, um, and I really wasn't taking any meds at that time. Um, and just basically a mood stabilizer, which I've been on one forever. I was on Depakote for probably like a decade, and then it was affecting my liver. So they switched me to lamotrigine, and I've been on that ever since. And it really helps me just kind of just chill, and not get out of control because I guess I'm classified as bipolar 2. There's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is a lot more severe. You have the manic symptoms of like feeling like you're on top of the world, and like you're Superman, and you have like this high, without taking drugs, and some people won't sleep for days, make really bad decisions, like go out and spend a bunch of money, go out and do risky, dangerous things, skateboard in traffic, things like that. I had a roommate that was bipolar 1, and he was like that. Some days he would just be real manic and just like, hey man, let's go do something, and then other days, he would just be like really down, and just want to be by himself and isolate. Bipolar 2 is just more mood swing, mood changing rapidly, um, you know, and 1 minute you might be in a good mood, and then something happens, and then your mood just changes instantly. And that was kind of how I was. I had bad temper, um, and I really let that affect me. People kind of push my buttons on purpose to see how I would react. And once I got on that medication, things, my mood stays pretty stable. I still, have my moments, but other than that, that was what I was on. But now I'm on Lexapro, which is actually working. It just started working probably a couple weeks ago. I've been on it for a few months now. Um, it takes a while to work, but I can definitely tell that it's working. Um, because when I'm at my apartment, I'm alone. And, when I was alone before, like when I had the tinnitus and I was in the depressive state, like it was horrible being at home. Like, um, I would just wake up just feeling terrible, always worrying about things like, because of my blood pressure, am I going to have a stroke, a heart attack, am I going to die? And then these just crazy panic attacks would just come on. And I was just so desperate, I just didn't know what to do. And when um, before I went home, um, my psychiatrist was actually leaving. So I was going to be getting a new psychiatrist. So she gave me like 2 months worth of meds, and so I didn't see a psychiatrist for like 2 months, um, and that was pretty horrible. That was pretty horrible because I just sank deeper and deeper and deeper. into depression and anxiety. Um, and I wasn't on an antidepressant during that time. I wasn't on any anti-anxiety medications at that time. Um, I had really nothing to help, except, just trudge through it, just grin and bear it. And you can only grin and bear it for so long. I don't know if anybody's ever eaten at Texas Roadhouse. I'm sure you probably have. But the owner of Texas Roadhouse, he had got coronavirus, and in some cases, the coronavirus can cause severe tinnitus. And he had gotten severe tinnitus, and it was so bad that he killed himself, and they found his body out on his property. He owned big acreage, and they found his body out on some property. And I kept thinking about that. Is that going to be me? Am I going to have just such horrible tinnitus and just be in this spot that eventually I'm just going to take my life? And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put that on my family. Um, because I've got my own family now, and to put that on them, would just be horrible and selfish. But I understand now, like, what like real pain um, is like, and how it can make people think that way. I never understood before, but now I do, and if anybody out there ever, thinks that there's nobody there, you know, there is help. There's definitely help, because I was in a position where I thought that there was nothing they could do for me, because there technically is nothing you can do for tinnitus. There isn't really. They can't regrow the hairs. They don't have the technology for that. They do have some methods of easing it. You want to have like other noises going on around you, and that does help. So, sleeping with like ceiling fan on, or a fan on, or sleeping with like some music on, or like something that makes the sound of rain. Like, I have Alexa, so I'll tell her to play like some rain sounds, thunderstorm sounds at night. So it really helps me not. It helps a little bit, and so just recently, I'd say like a month ago, um, and maybe a little bit longer, um, when I would be talking on the phone, I I would get a call, and I would start to talk, and I couldn't really hear what the person was saying through the earpiece. And I know it's nothing with the phone, because it's a brand new phone, brand new iPhone. So I knew it wasn't something with the phone, and I just kept figuring out, like, how do I turn the volume up more, but it's up at the max, like, so there's something wrong. So I went to see an audiologist, and she said that I was losing my hearing, all because of this medication. Um, so, she's ordered me like these like super discreet, like, uh, she just lost my train of thought. Uh, um, my grandfather had them, but hearing aids, yeah, hearing aids. So she ordered me like these brand new, like state of the art hearing aids that you can also play sounds through them. You can connect them to your phone. Because like I said, when you have tinnitus, if you have sound around you, like silence will, if you're in a quiet place that's silent, you just drive yourself crazy. But if you're like out somewhere where there's noise, it makes it much better for you. So, be helping me hear better, and also being able to play sound to help the tinnitus is like double good. Um, but because of that medication, I was going to start streaming at the beginning of 2021. And like during 2020 when COVID hit, that was kind of like when we stopped streaming because, you know, um, like school for me had changed. Like I was no longer going to campus. Like I was having to take online classes, and I'm not an online learner. Like I'm a learner that's got to be in the classroom and see you face to face, like hands on, like being able to ask questions face to face. And so I struggled. I was able to, I was still able to pass classes, but it was just still a struggle for me. And you know, I just found myself not, just not making time to stream. Um, and then 2021, I had made a New Year's resolution to start streaming again, but then that was when the tinnitus had gotten worse, and then the mental health had gotten worse. And I just was not able to keep up to my promise. And so I did end up going home and seeing my family, and it was great. you know um, I got to make a lot of amends to family members that I had really hurt and burned bridges. I could tell there was still a lot of like trust issues there. People kind of weary about me, and but I did get to talk to a lot of family, and it was good. So I'm still trying to keep in contact with those family members because I do have a lot of family that actually live out here in the Silver Spring area, and and that's the family that I am most distant with. And and then just recently, another family member passed away from COVID, very unexpected, and he was a lot younger than my uncle John. Real healthy. It was just very unexpected, um, and it's just so sad. And I would say probably within the last few months, I've lost many people. I lost a real good friend that I grew up with. He was killed in a car accident, and then another friend was killed in a motorcycle accident, and then another friend died from a drug overdose. And then I had my two family members that passed away, um, and then dealing with, the mental health. Um, it's just been it's just been a real struggle, and then trying to fit school in there. Um, you know, um, it's just been rough. And then, I've got a family and taking care of them, trying to raise two boys, and teaching them, the ways of life and making sure that they don't make the mistakes that I did. Because I always wish I would have listened to my parents when I grew up, because if I would have, um, I probably wouldn't be in this situation, you know. I might have still been an alcoholic, um, or a drug addict. I really don't know. It's possible. Some people are just kind of born with that addictive personality, and if they feel like they're different from everybody else, and they find a substance that makes them feel whole, feel like they can fit in and be themselves, that's like the creation. That's like the way an alcoholic or a drug addict begins. That's just how it starts. You feel different from everybody else. You feel like there's something missing. Um, and then you find that substance, whether it's alcohol, weed, pills, and then you're just kind of like, I found that empty piece, and it's yeah. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but other than that, being on the meds that I'm on now, I'm feeling a lot better, which is why I am streaming again. You can see I've gained a little bit of weight, you know, um, eating eating a lot, and just Because for a while there, when I was in that real deep depression, like I rarely ate, you know, and I had lost a lot of weight, and just within the last couple of months, I've kind of gained all that back, and I've made some new friends, and things are going good. 100% better than what they were. My blood pressure is much better now. It's pretty stable, and the tinnitus is still we're still dealing with that. Um, you know, I'm having some shoulder issues. As I was hurt in the military. I don't know if you can see the scar there. Maybe. Yeah, there's a big scar. I had a couple surgeries and been having problems with my arm. Going numb and things like that, and dislocating and freezing, and man, it's a struggle. But I always think that there are people out there that have it much worse than I do. Which is why I have this channel, because I'm here to lend that hand. I'm here to lend that hand to help whoever needs it. And I'm using my life experience to help others. I am not a licensed therapist. I'm not a licensed peer support specialist. I'm not a doctor. Um, all I am is Christopher Mertz, you know, with a lot of life experience and a lot of different things. I'm not saying I know more than other people, but I'm just lending a hand and doing what I can to help people, because I know there are people out there that, are dealing with depression, anxiety, substance abuse issues, you know, abuse, you know, whether it's verbal or physical abuse, and I know about all those topics, and I've dealt with them, and I've battled those demons, and I've got myself to where I am now. And even though this last year and a half was really rough, um, because of my support system and staying sober, I've been able to get through it, and you know, and I know that I've got my family behind me, and I know there are people out there that care about me and love me, and um, that helps. That's one thing that helps keep me going. And so I'm just doing this kind of for a test stream. We're gonna see how this runs. Um, so if there is anything wrong with the video, volume's too loud, too low, let me know. I mean, I'm obviously gonna watch the video myself just to make corrections. So in the future the videos can get better. Um, I can't tell you if John is going to come back or not. I might just be doing the channel on my own, which is fine. And I was supposed to do an episode last Thursday, but I was kind of having one of my episodes then, not feeling well, and just but those times is like when you need to just force yourself to get up and do something. I make sure to get out every day, at least, walk somewhere every day. 'Cause you just don't want to stay inside. The more you stay inside, the more you isolate, the worse things get. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. I'm going to end it, and I'm actually going to go on a walk, and there will be more to come. So you can always comment on the video. You can message me at my email, which is in the description below. If you've got me on Facebook, you can always send me messages there. I'm usually always free, and if I'm not, you can just text me, and I'll step away from whatever I'm doing. Um, you know, and try to help. So, that's what's been going on in my life, and why I haven't been streaming. And I just want to hear what's going on with everybody else's lives and how COVID has affected it. If you've, you know, fallen off the wagon and you need some help getting back on, just reach out. Just reach out. Don't feel scared to reach out. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment free zone. And any of the haters, they're only hating because there's something wrong with themselves. And they're not happy with themselves. So the people that are going to talk down to you and you know say mean things to you, it's because they are dealing with their own issues and how they release their anger and the emotions that they're feeling is by taking it out on other people. So that's something that you've got to realize. It's not personal. Most of the time, it's not personal. Sometimes it is personal. But you know, anyways, not trying to run on any more tangents, but I am going to go take my daily walk or bike ride and, just enjoy life. And I'll post another video. I'm going to try to figure out a topic to talk about. So today I kind of covered a little bit about depression, a little bit about anxiety, a little bit about why um, I hadn't streamed in such a long time, and anxiety is real. Can be a very it's severe. It can cripple you. It can be so bad that it'll cripple you. In a way, and depression can get so bad that people commit suicide. So these are very serious things. They're not things that are fake. They're real things that people deal with on a regular basis. And they do make meds that do work, and they do help. Um, I'm just saying from my experience. So, yeah, guys, I hope you liked the episode. Um, I will be posting more in the future. I'm going to think about what my next episode is going to be. So, if anybody out there wants to help, be much appreciated. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Thanks for watching the channel, and I'll catch you guys later.